Hi and welcome back to the Battle Bunker. Today's video is slightly a little bit different. First of all, I'm trying out a new lapel mic in that, so the sound levels might go up and down and that, so just bear with me when I'm trying to sort of mess about and get the right balances right. So what is today's video about? Well, one, as the title suggests, and that started a new project and some advice, but more on that later, just in the video. First of all, I thought I would show you whereabouts we in the Battle Bunker play our games and show our gaming room. Something a little bit different than that. So without further ado, I'll spin the camera around. So here we have it then. This is the Battle Bunker itself. Let's quickly pan it around a little bit to sort of show you what we got in the room. So as you can see there, we have two 6x4 tables, and I have room in here to be able to fit a third 6x4 table. And our maximum table size that we can have is 14x6 and still comfortably game around that table. You see the first table set up here. Jamie and I have set up a bolt action game. We haven't played bolt action for a long time. It's going to be sort of late war, somewhere in Normandy. My Paras versus his Fallschirmjäger. We haven't played bolt action for some time, so we thought it'd be an ideal chance to get a game out and play this game. As you can see, the table all set up with foregrounds buildings there. So this is a game we won't be able to play at the moment because both of us have got work commitments. So the table's just set up, ready from when both of us got a chance to play the game, possibly next week, which hopefully we might do a little bit of a video on, to sort of show you guys how the game's going. Just put your pan down. There's my Paras there. See if I can get him in a bit closer. As I said, I'll go through it a little bit more in detail if we do a video when we come to play the game. Apologies for the sun and the shadowing and that, but as you know, we've had the storm recently here in the UK, and so it's nice to see a little bit of sun out and calm weather for once. So there's some of Jamie's Fallschirmjäger. Really powerful unit that, and obviously he's got a Panzer IV there for his support. So that's that table. I'll pan across over this one. Oh, that down there is our Pelennor Fields game that we're taking to the Devon War Games group in a couple of weeks' time to put on a game for them. Over here on this second table, and going through our Death Guard army. Once a year we go up to Warhammer World for a couple of days in Nottingham. We take some games up with us and play up there. We really enjoy going up there and that. Death Guard 40k, I mean, you might have heard me say in the past that I fell out of love with 40k. That is true. 4th edition, I think, was where I really enjoyed it. I think at the moment, where the game is at, I think it's got over bloated again. Although they've simplified the rules, it's still now, with all the FAQs and that, I think it's got well over bloated, and the tournament scene sort of has taken over, which is a bit not my scene, really. So there we are, and that's the bunker itself. Oh, those two little tables at the end there, that's where I do my show and tell, unboxes and bits and pieces. See my little lighting rig there, and so there we are. That's our bunker. Hope you enjoy it. So there we have it, guys. That's the bunker where we all play our games and that. As I said many times before, I'm very lucky in that my wife and my son are heavily into gaming, and they love building and painting their own armies and that. So it means I don't have to sneak stuff into the house. So yeah, so that's brilliant for me. I hope you guys have got something similar, that you enjoy gaming in your own rooms. Certainly looking at some of your videos and that, you guys have got some good setups and that. So what's this topic about? What's this project about? Well, I've grabbed myself a brew and let's get into it. So I've been in this hobby coming up to 35 years. I had thought about doing a video of how I started and sort of giving people an insight of how I've got into it and what I've done over the years. But I thought this project would sort of give you a little insight. So here we have some old front rank figures, 95th and some Dragoons, that I've had for some time, and I've always kept them. These, funny enough, my 28mm skirmish figures I've never sold. For a single reason, I've always loved the sculpts and bits and pieces and that, and so yeah, so I've always kept these just to play around with. I was going to do loads of different projects with them, but never got round to it. I have bought and painted up 5 different times over that period Napoleonic armies, at various stages, at various times. So 5 times I've got into the Napoleonic period, and 5 times I've sold the armies. I've bought, painted and sold the armies 5 times. Not every time I've built every army, but certainly built French, and then I've built something else to go with them, and so forth. As manufacturers change, as manufacturing miniatures change. You know, I started off with the old minifigs, Essex, tabletop games, then moved on to Old Glory figures, and then some Lancashire games, and then culminating in with A&B figures, which I still think are some of the best figures at that scale ever produced. But that's, you know, it's just my opinion. So what's this video about? Why am I talking about Napoleonic period? Well, as you may have seen in some of your videos, your old videos, or recently your old videos, your video count's been going up. That might have been me watching all your videos, and looking back on how you guys sort of do your Napoleonic gaming. For me, the dilemma I'm facing at the moment is the reason I got out of the period, or out of Napoleonic's theme, was I always found game systems and you get burnout painting up all the miniatures, etc., etc. It's a long project. So I think that eventually, with the gaming and that, becomes a bit of a nightmare, especially the games that I used to play. I mean, I used to play Old Glory, Empire, the old Emperor's headquarters, and various other sort of game systems and that. General Brigade I've played, and all sorts. But I think, you know, certainly looking at it now, more recent, and I'm saying in the last sort of 5-10 years, games rule systems have massively evolved. Obviously, with Black Powder coming out, it has changed dramatically. Now, this project, I'm probably looking that I would do it we're using Black Powder rules. Although, slight caveat here, I do not like the order system in Black Powder. I do not like that all or nothing approach to the order system. I'm sure there's better ways, and I probably will come up with something which is a better way with representing that order system. That also goes for me when I play Hail Caesar and Pike and Shot, which I do. So Black Powder is going to be the rule system. It does allow you to do a lot of things very simply and easily, and it allows you to put flavour into it in the best ways you possibly can. So I do like it from that perspective. I don't like the movement system in it. I think, again, that is a massive movement system. I was disappointed with 2nd edition when it still kept that same movement. I was hoping it was going to more ally to the Ancients of Hail Caesar and Pike and Shot. Let's face it, most gamers, most of us, play on 6x4 tables. We haven't got the tables of John Stallard or Rick Priestley or anything like that. I'm lucky that I can put tables together to create that, but by and large I still play on a 6x4. So that is, to me, is where I think our hobbies and rules designers should be basing the benchmark for their game systems. And then going to a club, or being able to put more tables together, can then scale up. The game system should be able to scale up. So here's my question. Here's just where we have a sort of an open dialogue with each other. How did you guys go about creating your battalions? Now, for argument's sake, Warlord Games do 24 figures in a box. So for your French, for argument's sake, did you base it on actually what they have? So there's 6 companies, 24 figures, 6 companies ideal, 4 figures per company. And if you were doing, I'm trying to think now, Prussians, for argument's sake, 4 companies strong, again your 24 figures divides nicely with 6 figures representing a company. Is that sort of the process you sort of thought about? And then if that was the case, how did you get over the British? I said, because the British are 10 companies, 24 don't divide into 10. So did you do 20 figures and so forth? I've seen a lot of yours as 24 and bigger, So what was your sort of thinking and thoughts behind doing that? And then for me, going back to Black Powder, again, I don't know how you guys got over this or you thought about this. I'm not keen on one gun model represents a battery. There's nothing more frustrating of seeing that. I know what it's representing. I know why they've done it, I know how they've done it, but it still doesn't look right, does it? So I personally would probably put a battery out. I'd play it as I'm building the armies at one gun models the battery, as most people would, but I think eventually I would end up doing a battery and putting that out on the table, but still representing it as was. I mean, what's your thoughts on that? I mean, is that sort of things you guys have thought about? Or and the other one as well is, do you guys with your light companies and your battalions, do you like to keep them with your battalion and then represent the skirmishers or the light companies being detached from the battalions as separate skirmish units? So what sort of process did you do for that? Because these are the sort of ideas I'm thinking about. Is do I take the light companies out? Do I deploy them, or do I leave them in the battalion as integral and then create? I suppose it would be classed as a tiny unit, wouldn't it? A company in battalion size for black powder, a tiny unit as a skirmish unit. I don't know. I mean, these are just ideas I'm sort of thinking off the top of my head. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you guys? How do you play your games? I mean, I know how Leon plays his. He's written his own black powder version of rules, and I've certainly watched his videos and looked quite interesting in that, and we've enjoyed watching all of that. I mean, what's all your thought processes? Because, like I said, I want to do this and I want to do it right. I don't want to sort of get into it again and meet that brick wall again. I am very, very excited and very keen to do this. Salute War Game Show is only around the corner, hence the reason why I'm having all these thoughts now, getting it ready for when I go to Salute, because I will then open my eyes up and see what's out there. Miniatures wise, I know a lot of people, miniatures is like Marmite for people. You either like them or you don't. And so, and I like Marmite, but just the way it is. I don't like Bovril though. But yeah, Marmite I do. It's not very good for my gout though. No. Anyway, another thing. That's off. Change the subject. So, miniatures wise, like I said, there's Warlord. I think Warlord, some of the Warlord's newer stuff has got better and better. Perry's has always been there or thereabouts with the Napoleonics. Victrix, I think, is superb. But that's not to say that I wouldn't mix any of them. That's something I don't really know. And again, that's another question I'm asking you guys. How well do Warlord mix with Perry or mix with Victrix? How well do they all mix together as plastics? Not the metals, but how well does the plastics? As I think it was Liberator 240, he looked up and said that the Warlord's command figures, mounted command, are nice, but the horses are a little bit thin. And I've certainly seen that from his videos and that, I was describing that. So what do you guys do? Do they all mix? Can I add in, I know Victrix are quite big, aren't they, and so forth. So those are the sort of questions I'm asking. I think I probably, for ease, for building the French, I probably would go all great coat. So it would be the 1812 onwards. So I could use them at the tail end of the Peninsula campaign. My main sort of love really is the 1813 campaign. So that's where I'm aiming them at. And I might do a Prussian army with Culp miniatures. Yeah. That's a possibility. But more on that as we do it, I suppose, when we get into it. But I do love the Culp miniatures. I can't remember the gentleman's name, the channel's name now, but he did a French unit I watched recently, all in great coat and that, from Culp miniatures, and they look, oh my word, they look superb. How do they, I know they match with front rank, but how do they match up with the plastics, for argument's sake, from the other manufacturers? Do they mix in okay? Because like you say, you want some sort of personalizations or characterization from all these units. But like I said, that's where I'm at the moment. It's just, I've got a lot of things running around in my head with this project, and I'm sort of trying to get an open dialogue with you guys, an open conversation, to see how you do it, why you did it in the way you did, any advice, tips or anything like that you guys can think of. Get it in the comments below, and we can have a conversation, and we can certainly come back and we can talk about it and revisit it. you know, you guys can again do your own videos and just sort of have a conversation with me, and or all of us to the community, you know, and anyone that's looking to get into this period, hopefully we can all get ideas from it. So that's that today. Then that's sort of briefly where we're at and where we're going with it. I want to sort of get this off the bat a minute. Thank you to all our new subscribers. I'm very, myself, my wife, my son, we're all very humbled and pleased that you've seen something you've liked, and I hope we can deliver more and keep you enjoying our content and what we're doing. We're nearly at the 100 subscribers, so again, we're doubly humbled that people have wanted to join in our conversation, join in, take part in what we're doing. Because like I said, it's a community for us, and we all enjoy everything that everyone does. And I've certainly learnt some things from you guys since being on the YouTube and that, and having our blog that we do. And if you haven't checked out our blog, I'll leave a link in the description below. Check out our blog, and that way you'll be able to see what else we get up to. So I'll leave the video out here, and I just want to say thanks again if you've got this far from listening and listening to my Wiltshire accent. And I'll see you again next time. So take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.